ॐ भूर्भुवः स्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. This is 10th video on the life and teachings of Swami Brahmananda, of a direct devotee of Bhagwan Sri Ramakrishna Paramahansa. This is all taken from his book Eternal Companion. Disciple: Maharaj, how does devotion to God grow? Maharaj: keep the company of the holy, listen to their teachings and mold your life after their pattern, but without continence and the practice of meditation you cannot grasp the spirit of the enlightened ones, nor can you understand the scriptures. Read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna and meditate on its teachings. The more you meditate on God, the better will be your understanding of holy books. To hear about knowledge of God is one thing, to live in God is another, but the knowledge acquired through realization is different from both. If you have the craving for fleshly enjoyments or the slightest desire for name and fame, you cannot reach God. As Nag Mahase used to say, it is like trying to row an anchored boat. He also used to say, it is easy to get name and fame, but holy is he who can renounce them. Blessed is the Blessed is he who finds association with enlightened soul. When is the life of one does not struggle to realize God? Disciple: Maharaj, there are some who believe that merely keeping company with the holy is enough, one need not do no more. Maharaj, not merely to keep the company of the holy is not enough. You must open your heart and ask them to solve your doubts. You must carefully observe their lives and imitate their example. It is a lazy man's attitude to think that all one need to do is to associate it with the holy. Needless to say, association is also very important, for in their company doubts are removed and pure thoughts are awakened. No scriptures or books can create such pure impressions or transform a man's life as much as contact with an enlightened soul. Disciple: Maharaj, Sri Ramakrishna has said that solitude is an aid to spiritual growth. Maharaj: yes, that is true, but you should retire into solitude only when you have attained some growth in the spiritual life. To retire from human society before one is ready in is unwise. In this world of time, space and causation, it is impossible to find true solitude. True solitude lies beyond the mind and intellect. It is identical with the most tranquil, therefore it is better for a beginner to live in the company of holy men. Disciple: the other day you said that impatience was of no avail, that we should be content to work and want. Does that mean that we must not yearn to realize God immediately? Maharaj, I must have said that in another connection. Yes, you must yearn to realize Him, but do not be carried away by temporary emotions, nor give expression to them. To intensify your spiritual emotions, you must hold them within. If you give in to them, they will exhaust themselves, then dryness may follow. The man of true devotion yearns for God without becoming impatient. Even if he sees no light, he will not give up his devotions. Only those who love God like shopkeepers looking for profit will give up if their prayer, prayers are not answered immediately. Disciple. Maharaj, how can we develop yearning for God? Maharaj says. When your mind becomes purified by the influence of holy man and when you practice spiritual disciplines, yearning will grow. Disciple. Maharaj, how does one attain peace? Maharaj. Peace dwells in the heart of one who loves God. Realize that your life without Him is barren. Yearn for Him and peace will follow. When a man finds no peace in the world, this passion grows within him and he is drawn to God. The more a man realizes that the world is barren, the more intense becomes his devotion to God, and the greater is his peace, the greater the thirst, the sweeter the water. First create the thirst and then you will find peace in God. Disciple, how can love grow? Maharaj says, by prayer, meditation, and the practice of spiritual disciplines. Disciple. Can a man realize God while living in the world? Maharaj. Is there anyone outside the world? Disciple. No, Maharaj, what I mean is this. Can a man realize God if he lives the life of a householder? Maharaj. Yes, he also can realize God, but he has a greater struggle. Disciple. Should a man renounce the world if this passion arises? Maharaj. Yes, he should. Once true dispassion is awakened, it will spread like a forest fire. As Sri Ramakrishna used to say, when once a man of renunciation is released from the bondage of the world, he never wants to be caught again. He is like a fish that has escaped from the net. Disciple. Is it possible to realize God without a Guru? Maharaj? It is, but it is not so easy without a Guru. The Guru is one who shows the path to God through a mantram, holy name. He gives the secret of spiritual practices. He watches over his disciple and protects him. A Guru must be a knower of Brahma. Disciple. How can one make the mind one pointed? Maharaj. By practice, pray, worship, meditate regularly. Meditation for 1 or 2 hours a day is not sufficient. The longer you practice, the more your mind will become one pointed towards God. Follow a routine with regularity. The aspirant must begin his spiritual practice by offering mental worship to his chosen ideal, God with form. Then he must meditate on his shining form and then gradually let this form melt into the formless. God is with form. He is without form and he is beyond both. Practice meditation in solitude and silence. Seek God and God alone. Renounce lust and greed and make him your sole treasure. First renounce mentally, outwardly renunciation will follow. If you detach your mind from the transitory, unreal objects of the world and attach it to God. Disciple. Maharaj. What is the meaning of the Vedantic saying, Brahma is real, the universe is unreal? Maharaj. It means that the universe of appearance is unreal. In Samadhi, the universe disappears. If you ask a seer about the experiences, he will say, all is infinite bliss there. There is no I nor you. There is only existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute. The joy of that experience is unspeakable. Disciple, Maharaj, what is the proof of God's existence? Maharaj, the seer says, I have seen him. You also can see him. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, merely uttering the word hemp does not bring intoxication. Procure hemp, mix it with the right ingredients and then drink it. And after a while you will become intoxicated. Watch and wait. Practice spiritual disciplines and you will be blessed with the vision of God. Disciple. Sometimes as I continue practicing Japam, my mind becomes blank. What causes that, Maharaj? Maharaj says, that is one of the obstacles in the way to spiritual growth. Meditation must be practiced along with the practice of Japam. Meditation means a continuous flow of thought towards God. When meditation opens, there comes absorption and samadhi is experienced. The joy that is realized in samadhi remains forever. Disciple, how should I meditate? Please instruct me, Maharaj. Hold the mind fast to the lotus feet of your chosen ideal. Disciple, in which center shall I meditate upon him? The center in the brain or the center in the heart? Maharaj, meditation can be practiced in both centers. I would advise you at first, however, to meditate in the heart. Disciple, but how, Maharaj? Maharaj, meditate upon him in the center of the lotus in your heart. Maharaj, then give the disciple more detailed instruction concerning meditation. These details can only be learned personally from a guru. Disciple, but Maharaj, the heart is made of flesh and blood. How can one think of God there? Maharaj, by heart I do not mean the anatomical heart. Think of the spiritual center situated near the heart. In the beginning, as you think of him inside the body, you will think of your flesh and blood. But soon you will forget the body and there will only remain the blissful form of the chosen ideal. Disciple, shall I think of him exactly as he is portrayed in pictures or images? Maharaj, let the picture or image be merely an aid in beginning to your mind, in bringing to your mind the living, conscious and shining form of your chosen ideal. Disciple, Maharaj, what is really meant by meditating on the meaning of the mantram? Maharaj, what is the meaning of the mantram? It is the name of God. You have a name. If I call you, your name form also come to my mind. Call on the Lord in the same way. Repeat the mantra and at the same time meditate on the image of the chosen ideal. Disciple. How does one perform japam by repeating the mantra mentally or audibly? Maharaj. When you are alone, you may repeat it audibly to yourself, otherwise repeat it mentally. Disciple. Maharaj, for the last few days, during my meditation, the mantra has appeared in shining letters before my closed eyes. When this happens, the form of the chosen ideal disappears. Maharaj, you must not let the chosen ideal leave your mind meditation and mantra must go together. However, your experience of the mantra shows that you are proceeding along the right path. That was an auspicious sign. The mantra is the sound Brahma. Disciple. How should I begin to meditate on the chosen ideal Maharaj? First, make your salutations at his feet and then proceed. But as I have already told you, you must perform japam at the same time. The mantram is charged with spiritual power. The truth of this will be directly revealed to you as you practice. Disciple. How can one get the mind absorbed in God? Maharaj says. Practice meditation regularly. The early morning is a good time for meditation. Before you begin your meditation, read a devotional scripture. This will help you to concentrate the mind on God. After meditation, sit quietly for at least half an hour for during meditation. Meditation itself, the desired effect may not be produced, it may come later. The mind often grows calm while you are relaxing after meditation, and then spiritual experiences come. For this reason, an aspirant should not occupy himself with the worldly thoughts or engage himself in secular affairs immediately after meditation. It may do him great harm. Practice, practice, even though you may not like it. Keep up the regularity of your practice. Even mechanical practice is a great help. Devote at least 2 hours every day to the performance of japam. Sometimes it is beneficial just to sit quietly in a solitary place amid beautiful scenery. Disciple. Maharaj, what should I do if, while meditating on the form of the chosen ideal, other forms of gods and goddesses appear before me? Maharaj, recognize this as an auspicious sign. Know that your chosen ideal is appearing to you in various aspects. He is one and he is many. Meditate on your chosen ideal, but if he appears before you in another form, enjoy that divine vision. Gradually, you will find that all aspects are dissolved into your chosen ideal. There are particularly auspicious days favorable for spiritual practice. New moon full day, the eighth day after the new or full moon day, and days on which special celebrations are held on these days. Devotees devote more time to japam and meditation. Disciple. Maharaj, the scriptures declare that one should worship the Guru before one meditates. How shall I worship the Guru? Maharaj. First, meditate on him within the heart, knowing that Guru and God are one and the same. Then let the form of the Guru be dissolved into the chosen ideal and then proceed with the japam and meditation. Disciple. Maharaj, you always insist that I must serve my father. Is not it better to become a monk and serve you? Maharaj, indeed it is, but will the mere wearing of the Girva clothes make you a monk? You have a duty to perform in serving your Sikh father. I am asking you to serve your father, my child, and at the same time to continue your regular spiritual practices. Such a service will help you in your spiritual growth. Maharaj, while Swami Turiyananda and I were living on Mount Abu, we received a letter from Swami Vivekananda just before his departure for America. He wrote, to devote your life to the good of all and to the happiness of all is a religion. Whatever you do for your own sake is not a religion. How wonderful is this truth! His words are engraved on my heart. It has come to my notice that some of you think that the path you take in the activities of the Ramakrishna mission is a hindrance to your meditation and spiritual progress, and that Swami Brahmananda and I do not approve of such activities. This belief has no foundation. You do not understand our spirit. No matter how busy you may be in carrying out your duties, you must practice regular japam and meditation. This point I shall emphasize again and again. Remember the Lord always before you begin to work, while you are working, and after you have finished. We have heard Swamiji often say work and worship. Can anyone in the primary stage live absorbed day and night in meditation? Therefore, you must work, but work without attachment and for the good of mankind. If you do not work, evil thoughts and unnecessary cares will occupy your mind. The Gita and other scriptures emphasize the ideal of worship and meditation in the midst of the activities of life. I can confirm this from my own experience. Work and worship is the surest way to spiritual progress. You see this disastrous war which is now going on. Out of futile patriotism, men give up their wives and children and all their pleasures and sacrifice their lives for a worldly cause. Yet you who have given up hearth and home, renounced all sense pleasures and surrendered yourselves at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna for the sake of a noble ideal, the good of mankind and the realization of God, you want to avoid a little work. Swamiji used to say to us, if you think you are wasting your life in doing good to others, let it be wasted. You have wasted many lives before in vain things. Why not waste one more life for the good of mankind? But I am telling you that your life will not be wasted. You will realize God through work. In performing japam and meditation, sufficient time and favorable conditions are important, certainly, but those who are inclined to practice spiritual exercises will do so under all circumstances. Those who complain of lack of time or suitable place can never make any progress in this life. Cultivate the habit of constantly remembering God whether you are idle or engaged in work. This constant flow of thought towards God is meditation. Neither time nor place nor circumstances need be taken into account in this practice. Plunge in, oh, the joy of it. If you once taste that joy, everything else will lose its savor for you. Why are you afraid of work? Work for the Lord, but do so with a steady mind. Whether it be a great undertaking or a simple one, it must be done with the utmost care and attention. Those who are steady in secular work are also steady in their spiritual exercises. To work in the proper manner, you must have a profound regard for your work and at the same time an indifference to its fruits. All disinclination for work can be overcome if it is dedicated to God. It is when this secret is forgotten that the mind becomes disturbed. Within a disturbed mind, you will not succeed either in spiritual life or in secular work. Certainly, it is easier to do a noble deed for the sake of name and fame, but by such deeds, a man's real value cannot be measure. To know the real man, examine his daily actions, for it is his everyday actions which reveal his true character. A true Karam Yogi, selfless worker will lose himself heart and soul in any undertaking, even though it is of a most inferior kind. He is never motivated by the least desire for popular approval. If you work and forget God, egotism and pride will overpower you. Therefore, I tell you, never forget God, no matter whether you are working or sitting idle. To maintain this attitude, you must keep up your spiritual practices no matter what happens. Disciple, Maharaj, I have tried in various ways to control my senses, but I have not succeeded. How can I do this? If you merely say, I will conquer lust, I will conquer anger and greed, you can never conquer them. But if you can fix your mind on God, the passions will leave you of themselves. Sri Ramakrishna used to say, the more you move eastward, the further you are from the west. Call on God and pray to Him. Then the objects of sense will no longer attract you. Your way of practicing japam and meditation is very superficial. If you practice casually, devoting only 1 or 2 hours a day to meditation, you cannot find God. Lose yourself day and night in His contemplation, in singing His praises and glory. Only then will you be blessed with His vision. Dive deep, my children, dive deep. Do not waste your time. In the primary stage, the aspirant should slowly but steadily increase his hours of meditation. Otherwise, if because of a momentary enthusiasm he suddenly tries to increase his hours of meditation, he will find the reaction difficult to bear. He will become depressed and then he will lose the power to meditate. It is a difficult task to lift a depressed mind and turn it back to spiritual practices. God's grace is supreme. Without it, nothing is achieved. Pray to Him unceasingly, for His grace prayer is efficacious. He lovingly hears your prayers. Hold on for a little while. Do not give your mind up to objects of desire. You must exercise great self control in everything objects of desire. They will follow you like slaves. Then, through His grace, you will find you have no desire for them, nor will you feel any attachment to them. You have embraced the monastic life, renouncing everything. It does not become you to try to exercise authority over others. That brings great bondage. Whatever you do, know that it is the Lord's work you are doing. Look upon everything and everybody as belonging to Sri Ramakrishna. Being deluded by egotism, man thinks himself to be the doer. To tell a lie is the greatest sin. A drunkard or a man who frequents houses of ill fame may be trusted but never a liar. It is the blackest of sins. Never find fault or criticize others. Such a habit is harmful to yourself. By thinking continually of the evil in others, the evil will impress itself upon your mind and the good that is in you will be overshadowed. Play with God, sing His glory, enjoy the fun. Why should you criticize others? Associate with everybody freely, be happy with them. Do not indulge in gossip. Only a wicked-hearted man busies himself finding fault with others. Keep yourself pure and go forward following your own ideal. Learn to see the good in others. If a man has some goodness, exaggerate his goodness in your mind. Give honor to all, praise all. Do this and sympathy for others will grow. He himself is honored who honors all beings. Never run down a fellow man or slight him. Everyone sees the fault in others. Give him your love, make him your own, and help him to overcome his weaknesses. A man is composed of both good and evil. It is easy to see the evil in others, but a holy man is he who can overlook their evil qualities and help them to become pure and holy. Remember, my children, you are holy man. You must always be calm, gentle, modest, and kindly of speech. Goodness and purity must flow through every word you utter, every action you perform, through all your behavior and moments. I bless you, my children, that whomsoever associate with you will find peace of heart. The sleeping God will awaken within them. What is chastity? Always be truthful, be self controlled, watch your speech, envy no one, hate no one, be jealous of no one. If one practices chastity for 12 years, he attains the highest. You must practice continence. It is wise to go occasionally to places of pilgrimage and live there for some time. The holy atmosphere and change of scenery are aids to the health of the body and mind. These places are also conducive to meditation. The heart must be purified. This world is full of pitfalls. Effort must be pure motto if you want to grow spiritually. Keep watch over every small desire which arises and control it. Strengthen the will and everything else will be simple. Disciple. Maharaj, some days when I sit to meditate, my mind naturally becomes tranquil. Again, on other days, it becomes so restless that I cannot calm it, no matter how I try. Maharaj, that is the play of the gunas. The mind is subject to all three gunas. When the sattva becomes established, through practice, the mind will always remain tranquil. You see, there is an ebb and a flow in the tide of the Ganges. In the same way, there are ups and downs in everything. Meditation also has its ebb and flow. This is only in the early stage, however, do not trouble about it. Stick to your practices. When you have practiced regularly for some time, there will be no longer any ebb and flow in the mind. There will be a smooth, unobstructed current flowing towards God. Whenever you feel a predominance of sattva and your mind is tranquil, leave your work and engage yourself in the practice of japam and meditation. At each place of pilgrimage, there is a special time when the spiritual current flows. If at those times an aspirant meditates, his mind easily becomes absorbed and he finds increased joy in his meditation. Disciple. But Maharaj, how does one know that time? Maharaj, it is not difficult. A man who practices meditation can very easily recognize it. Banaras. It seems to be apart from the world. It is a place of mighty spiritual consciousness. If a man lives there and practices spiritual disciplines, he quickly gets results. The mantram, the seed word, unfolds there with little effort on the part of the aspirant here. Vishwanath, the Lord of the universe, gives liberation to everyone, whether he be saint or sinner, rich or poor, great or small. Maharaj, do you pray or meditate? Devotee, no, Maharaj. Maharaj, it is good to devote a little time each day to God. The only way to control the mind and find peace is to chant the name of God and meditate on Him. Devotee, please tell me how to meditate, Maharaj. Shine within your heart. Do not waste any more time. Begin this very day. Practice japam and meditation once in the morning and once in the evening for at least 2 years. You will find great joy, spiritual emotions will arise, a new vision will open up. You are sure to find some result in 2 years. Some succeed even in a year, stick to it. After a while, you will find such joy that you will have no inclination to leave your meditation. Get yourself a new seat and use it only for your meditation. Sit straight, keep the right hand over the left with the palms up. Hold your hands near the center of your body in the region of the heart. Read sacred scriptures. When you sit down to meditate, do not begin the practice immediately. For a few minutes, banish all alien thoughts and make the mind blank. Then start your meditation. For the first 2 years, the struggle is hard. Afterwards, it becomes easy. If a day comes when you have a lot of work to do, you may meditate only once, or you may finish in 10 or 15 minutes. If the pressure of work is very great, fix your mind on God for a moment, then bow down to Him and close your meditation. You can do this in exceptional cases, but not always. Before meditation, wash your hands and face. Observe the two following rules of moral conduct. Serve the two following rules of moral conduct. Speak the truth and look upon all women as incarnations of the Divine Mother. If you do these two things, you will find all other moral rules easy to follow. Devote yourself to God. God is, do not doubt His existence. I am telling you, my child, God is known for certain that He is. Know for certain that He is. Disciple. Maharaj, there are some who meditate in the shrine of the heart and others who meditate on the thousand petaled lotus in the brain. But I like to meditate externally. I try to see my chosen ideal just as I am seeing you, which is the proper way. Maharaj. Meditation differs according to the individual temperament of the aspirant. As a general rule, the best way is to meditate in the shrine of the heart. Consider the body as the temple and see the Lord installed therein. However, when once the mind becomes five cards through meditation, then the aspirant can think of God anywhere, either at his side or behind him, or in his heart or anywhere else. When the mind becomes absorbed, a shining light is first experienced in the mystic vision. With this vision, there comes a kind of higher and noble joy, and the mind is reluctant to give up this joy and move on. But if the aspirant goes further, the vision of the light will be concentrated onto the form of the chosen ideal, and the mind becomes merged in his consciousness. Sometimes again in his mystic experience, the aspirant may hear the long drawn out sacred word Om, and his mind becomes absorbed in that. There is no end to mystic visions and experiences. The more you advance, the more you realize that the realm of spiritual experience is unbounded, infinite. There are some who think that they have already attained God if they see a radiant light. Do not be deluded in this way. You must attain Nirvikalpa Samadhi, where all consciousness of duality is obliterated. Some say that that state is the end of spiritual experiences, but I believe it is the beginning. It often happens that the mind, after making some progress, cannot advance further. Why is this so, Maharaj? That is the weakness of the mind. The mind is limited by its capacity. All do not have the same mental power, but it can be developed. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that the power of the mind becomes strengthened by the practice of continence. A mind so strengthened is not overcome by lust and anger. Passions seem trivial to it. In the path of spiritual progress, many obstacles may arise. Evil, subtle influences may hinder your growth. Hence, the mudra, position of fingers, and bhuta, shuddhi, the purification of the elementals, and similar practices are prescribed in the ritualistic worship. Disciple. You can each one of us to you and inquire about our spiritual progress and our difficulties. You always give us new craze and enthusiasm, Maharaj. But you see, I am not always in the same mood. Sometimes I feel like entreating and imploring you to go on with your spiritual practices. Again, at other times, I see that the Lord is everything, the Lord is the cause, the Lord is the doer, the Lord is the instrument, and the Lord is the deed. He is all everything. I see the Lord playing in so many forms, then who am I to give instruction? Why should people accept my words? But you know, my child, that when the inspiration comes from the Lord, they do accept my words and follow them. Disciple. Is grace conditional? This Maharaj. Sri Ramakrishna used to say that the breeze of grace is always blowing, but you have to unfurl your sails. He would also say, When it is hot, one needs a fan, but the moment a cool breeze comes, you stop fanning. Disciple. How does one know whether a man is having true mystic experiences or hallucinations, Maharaj? The true spiritual vision brings a lasting bliss, and the mind is aware of the truth of the vision. Disciple. What is the real function of mudra and other rituals in formal worship, Maharaj? Rituals are great aids in the beginning of spiritual life. They help to remove many bad external influences which hinder an aspirant's progress. You will notice sometimes that as you go to meditate, your mind is tranquil within a few minutes. However, the mind is made restless by evil thoughts. I had to suffer at one time from such influences. Sri Ramakrishna watched me from a distance and knew my condition. He approached me and said, I see that something is disturbing you. He wrote something on my tongue and uttered some words inaudibly. After that, I was immediately free from the disturbing stage. If, however, the aspirant has advanced, these influences cannot touch him. Disciple. Is it difficult to live a purely contemplative life, Maharaj? Do not give up because it seems hard. Try again and again. Through practice, it becomes easy. Disciple. Maharaj, what is austerities? Maharaj, austerities are of many kinds. Once I saw a man who had taken a vow not to sit on or lie down for 12 years. When I met him, only 5 or 6 months remained of this period. Continuous standing for so many years had made his legs swell as they do not as do in elephant races. When he slept, he held himself up by a rope. Some practice the austerity of standing all night in deep water in the winter and at the same time performing japa. Again, there is the austerity of sitting in the blazing summer sun in the center of four fires. Disciple. Maharaj, is that what austerity means, Maharaj? Good gracious, no. Generally, men practice such austerities with the hope that in their next lives they may be born rich and find greater worldly enjoyments. Disciple, do they gain their wishes, Maharaj? God only knows. Disciple, what then is real austerity? Maharaj, those are not real austerities. Anyone can practice them. The body is easily controlled, but it is an other matter to control the mind. It is very difficult to renounce lust and gold, to give up the desire for name and fame. Real austerity is based upon these three principles. First, take refuge in the truth. Truth is the pillar to which you must always hold while performing any action. Second, conquer lust. Third, renounce all cravings. Observe these three principles, that is real austerity, and the greatest of these is to conquer lust. It has been declared in our scriptures that he who practices continence for 12 years can easily attain God. This is the most difficult task. I can tell you from my own experience that it is not possible to meditate properly unless you keep continent. The craving of lust is very subtle and extremely difficult to control. That's why a spiritual aspirant must always be careful in associating with the opposite sex. Through continence, a special power is stored up in the brain. If a man becomes established in continence, he will begin to see the expression of God everywhere. But remember, it is not possible to practice continence without devoting yourself to the practice of japam. So I stop this video here. Thank you for watching this video. Please like, comment and share the video. Namaskar my dear friends. Thanks a lot. Please share, like and comment the video and subscribe the channel. Namaskar. Namaskar. Namaskar.